Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Dis-Cember. Today we're checking out Sky High. Yes. So after watching Sky High, I will tell you because the whole thing of this is which one's better, Up and Away, Sky High. And I think they're both good movies. A lot of people will tell you Sky High is the better one. Well, it definitely had the bigger budget. I'll tell you that much. The suits and stuff look a lot better than the suits and stuff in Up and Away. There are certain plot points that I like better in one movie over the other. Like I kind of like in Up and Away how Scott doesn't get powers, and in this one they take the obvious route, which is he ends up getting powers. He just doesn't get them right away, and they do that twice because he's got. They make a big deal that he's got double superhero parents. That's a big deal. And there's only one other person that had double superhero parents and he didn't get powers. That was Ron Wilson, bus driver, Kevin Heffernan. Yeah. So this film stars Michael Angarano as Will Stronghold, because that's a name. Look, they're like, oh, we have our secret identities and we're real estate people. How the hell are you gonna hide that you're a superhero with the name Stronghold? Right? I'm just saying. But he's attending Sky High. He hasn't gotten his powers yet. That sounds familiar. Yes, it's the same as Up and Away, but hey, that was an old black family. So that was progressive. But anyway, this is white family. That must be racist. But his parents are the Commander and Jetstream. Their power sets are similar. He got super strength and flying, like Bronze Eagle, but she just flies. Yeah. I think he can fly. I don't know. Yeah. So he starts to attend Sky High. He has his friend Zach, who has powers. So, the scene with which Bruce Campbell as Coach Boomer, Coach Boomer, is... So they have this gym class where you have to present your powers and you get told whether you are a hero or a sidekick. When Zach goes to do his powers, he's like, boom, I'm doing them. The coach is like, what, doing what? He's like, I got powers. I can glow. But you need to turn the light off so it works. And he's like, sidekick. And every time I watch this, I go, no, turn off the goddamn lights. He just said you need to turn off the lights for his powers to work. He doesn't. Instead, he just like, sidekick. That's not his fault. That's your fault for not turning off the lights like you're supposed to. You're supposed to accommodate every superhero, right? He says turn off the lights, and you're like, No, you should turn off the lights. One girl could turn to a guinea pig, another one a puddle. Apparently he's called Popsicle. And then there's War and Peace. He has fire powers, but I guess he's older. He's not in that class, I don't think. But he's in the training classes, but he's not. And Will doesn't have any powers, so he gets put in the psychic. And then there's Layla, played by Danielle Panabaker, his best friend. She has plant powers, but she refuses to use them because she claims she only use them if it's necessary. So using them to climb onto the roof to talk to Will later, that's necessary? Because she's like, I don't use my powers, and it's absolutely necessary. And she just uses them to climb up onto the roof to talk to Will later. Yeah, okay. But yeah, he's a sidekick now, and the commander thinks that it's all like, oh, he never liked me, blah 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 blah. But no, he's trying to say I don't have powers. Yeah. By the way, the sidekick or hero support uh, class is taught by Dave Foley from News Radio. Always great to see Dave Foley, but every time I see him, I can't stop thinking about his role in Monkey Bone at the end, where he's like, "For God's sake, take off your clothes." Just he's funny in that movie, Monkey Bone. They need to put that streaming somewhere because it's too expensive to get the DVD. But I would like to talk about that movie. I can find it streaming anywhere. Anyway, so it escalates when one day at lunch. So we find out that War and Peace's dad, Baron Bulge or whatever his name is, was sent to prison by the commander. So, this is the father, transferred to the son. War and Peace doesn't like Will very much. And one day, Will is tripped accidentally by Lash. Or I call him Downey because he's Downey from Fired Up. Downey isn't gay. Downey from, yeah. Or he does that. He does that. I don't know. But he's tripped and he ends up spilling his food all over Warren. This starts a fight. During the fight, Will gets his super strength when he pushes up a lunch table. The picnic lunch table, whatever. And there's all the fight, they both get the tension. But the commander is happy he has powers and he gets a PlayStation 3 or whatever, PS3, an Xbox, I think it is. I don't know. My DVD froze up on me and I had to skip to the next scene to get out of it. Because of this, he's transferred from the sidekick or hero support classes to the superhero classes. And he becomes popular and starts getting tutored by Gwen Grayson, which is the only one of the names that have superhero names, and there's a twist to her. It's played by the very gorgeous Mary Elizabeth Winstead. This is coming out a year before Final Destination 3. And she's in this one, and yes, this came out in 2005, 5 years after Up and Away. I was already 18 at this point. So I am closer in age to the seniors in this movie because they're 40 and I'm 38. Now, not then, now. Yeah. So she starts to kind of wiggle into Will's life. They sort of start dating, and she offers a Hero of the Year award to both the Commander and Jetstream. We also learn of a villain that the Commander and Jetstream fought years ago. It's how they met, actually. Royal Pain. He had a weapon called the pacifier. They didn't know what it did, but it blew up, and the pacifier disappeared. So did a random girl in their class that she disappeared. What is the connection there? Her name is Sue something. This is so stupid. This whole villain thing is so convoluted. Which is why the villain Up and Away or Malcolm is so much more straightforward than the villain in this movie. We'll get to it now. So Gwen starts tutoring him and is kind of pushing him away from his friends, and there's sort of a tutor date thing because she can't do it the next day, and then so he's supposed to meet Layla at a Chinese restaurant, but he doesn't show up, so she ends up hanging with Warren Peace, but Warren pushes her into asking him out for the dance or whatever, but he ends up going with Gwen. And she gets all pissed. This is also the same night, I think, where... No, this is not the same night. Because this is where she has dinner with them. It's the next night where they're going to do their... There's another night where they're going to do their tutoring thing, and The multiplying cheerleader, who's the whole cheer squad, she's like, there's a problem with the homecoming parade, homecoming committee or whatever, and so she asks if they can come there, and automatically it's just a party. And if I was him, I'd be like, wait, you said it was just. He even says, what happened to the homecoming committee? He's like, this is them. No, it's everybody. Oh, so a few more people came. So what? He's starting to, but it doesn't help the situation because she's like, oh, is there a place we could go to be alone? So he takes her into the sanctum, and then you see behind him as they're making out, someone yoinks the pacifier. Like, okay, there's something up with her. But if you're smart, you can figure it out. Because we get this scene with the villain, who, once you find out he's Patrick Warburton, you can't unhear it. Because I saw it on Wikipedia that Patrick Warburton did the voice, and all I hear is, oh yeah, we have to get the pacifier, so we can defeat the commander and Jetstream, yeah. So it's not as drawn out as that, but you hear the voice. At first I didn't hear it, but then when he really starts talking, it's like, yeah, that's Patrick Warburton. And his little sidekick, who's played by Jim Rash. But yeah. So Latha's apparently going with Warren. She has a big fight because they kick her out of the party because Gwen shows her true colors. She's a bitch, and so then he's like, you know what? That's it. Party's over. And I like how it kind of pans over to the commander. Oh, don't stop on our count. He's like, you didn't even know they were there. Like, yeah, I did like this. He's like, I didn't plan for this to happen. Okay, cool. Like he didn't plan it. It just happened. It was set up. So he decides he's not going to the dance. Everyone else is gonna go. And then he's going through his dad's yearbook, and they go to that Sue girl again, and he looks at the picture and now recognizes that it looks just like Gwen, where he didn't. They looked through the thing earlier and they pointed her out. And whenever I point someone out, you know it's going to come back. They point her out, and not one person, not even the two people that knew her, were able to go, hey, wait a minute, you guys look similar. No, because she's wearing the glasses, right? Because they were hitting, because they're that earlier, where Layla comes over and the commander's not wearing glasses. He's like, hey, commander. Oh, thank you. But yeah, like, so he realizes he's got to get to the Sky High. So earlier he got a card from Ron Wilson, bus driver. So he calls him to get help, and it's a trap. Gwen is the pacifier's daughter. Yes, and she turns the commander and Jetstream and the guy with the big brain into a baby, a bunch of other people into babies. But the thing is, because the guy's so smart, he's still able to talk normal. I can get us all out of here. I made a duty. I made a boom boom, is what he says. Yeah. So it's up to the sidekicks and Will to save the day. Right. So Magenta, who I didn't mention yet, she just wanted to turn into a gerbil. I didn't mention her. She has to turn into the gerbil or guinea pig to get into there and to chew on the thing because they're going to deactivate the thing and make it fall. Again, it's so convoluted. So here's the situation. Her plan was to sneak into the Stronghold house, get the pacifier, use it to turn them into babies, take all the superheroes and stuff as babies, steal them away and fly them out of there, and then destroy the school by turning off the anti-gravity thing. Okay, Because I thought about this as I was getting ready to do this review, okay? This is such a convoluted plan. So first of all, the only way she's able to manipulate Will in the first place because he ends up in the superhero classes. But she's not the one who manipulated things to get him into superhero classes. He only got into superhero classes because of dumb luck that he just so happened to get his super strength when he was fighting War and Peace. He never gets his super strength. He never goes to the superhero class, and she has to figure out another plan. The only reason she's able to manipulate him is because he coincidentally gets his powers. And then, for her to have to manipulate every single situation after this, to know that somehow Layla has feelings for him, though she doesn't know these people at all. Right? How is she going to get that? Whatever. Anyway. And these villain kids, because her plan also is to manipulate these bad kids to being villains and to create a school of villains. But then there's another twist. She's not Royal Pain's daughter. She is Royal Pain because when the pacifier exploded, it turned her into a babby. And so she was raised by Jim Rash's character all those years. Again. Yeah. So she had to go through all that time, at least 17 years, because she's a senior, she's 17. 17 years, at least, for this plan to work. She had to wait 17 years. Which means you do have consciousness. Because she has this whole spiel that she's going off with the baby commander. She's like, well, you can understand anything I'm saying. But, like, he has to, because your explanation of how you wanted revenge all these years, you remember everything. So he's still conscious. And when Will shows up to save the day, the baby goes. So, yeah, he's conscious of what's going on. He knows what's going on. Baby commander knows what's going on. But, yeah, so a fight ensues, but Will's knocked off. Surprise! He can fly now. And he uses his powers to try to stop the thing from falling. He's able just in time before it squishes a house. And we get a cameo from Tom Kenny and his wife. Yes. And he pushes it back up. And we need Adam to come in and zap their brains so they don't remember anything. Wrong universe. Though they could be in the same universe. Technically they could. If the Marvel and DC superheroes can exist in that universe, they can exist in this universe too. Maybe they said the commander went there too, so I don't know. Maybe there's a choice. Maybe some superheroes want to raise their kids in regular school, and maybe some superheroes want to raise their kids in superhero school. I don't know. Then he saves the day, and then Dave Foley comes back. He says, "Oh, I know she made up this award, but I think you should have it anyway." And Commander's like, "You know what? I would be honored, but it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the real heroes, the sidekicks. As if War and Peace is not standing right there, and he's technically a hero." Yeah, he did help save the day, throwing fireballs. I do like the scene where they're fighting the fireballs and everything, and like, guy's super fast, but Popsicle turns into a puddle, so he slips, so he's able to use his fire on him. Yeah, it's like, way to go, Popsicle. Yeah, they're heroes. And Will and Layla, they get together. So, yeah, and the big-brained guy is able to reverse everything, so. Yeah, and now he has a line at the end where he's like, my best friend became my girlfriend. We're like, so the sidekicks are becoming superheroes. My worst enemy became my best friend became my girlfriend. And we get their covers of songs. I stop the world and melt with you. Yeah. And then earlier, what is the song that plays whenever Gwen shows up? There's a song playing in the background whenever Gwen shows up. Let's see. I can look at the soundtrack here. Like whenever he sees Gwen, this song plays. To let you know, he thinks she's hot. Sky High. Gruzik. Everybody wants to rule the world. That's on there. Oh, high voices carry. No, that's not yet. Is it? I know this much is true. No. Can't stop the world. She was. Lies. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Please, please, please. Isn't that what it is? Ba, 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 ba. I know this much is true. Ba, 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 ba. You know what it is? One way to look it up. Go to YouTube. It's True by Spandau Ballet. Yeah, I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna pause it so I'm not gonna get no copyright bullshits, okay? Or I can put the headphones in, I guess. Sabrina fell down. True. Damn it, I hit the R and it. The. Spandau Ballet. Hold on. I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything. I think I have the mix. Yeah, that is that song. True. Sky High. It says Mary Elizabeth Winstead tribute. So I think that's the song that plays. I think. Yeah, I think that's the song that plays. But yeah, every time that they show her, he hears that in the background, I think. But yeah. So I'm gonna say it's also pretty good. But which one, in my opinion, is better? Up and Away or Sky High? Well, they both have heart, I'll tell you that much. But I think that Malcolm's evil plan is far more straightforward than the convoluted plan that Gwen has. Because, like I said, for her plan to even get started, he has to be in a superhero class. And it's by pure luck that he gets his powers at that point. So if he doesn't get his powers, how's she going to work out her plan, right? You know? Wherein Malcolm's plan is straightforward. Mind control. That's it. Mind control. Control the mind of people. Take over the world. Simple. This is... And even when her plan gets started, her big plan is to turn people into babies. Why? There's no reason. She wants to create a villain school, but is she planning to mold the new babies into that? Because we know that they'll grow up sentient, knowing who they are anyway. How are you going to manipulate that? And it's confusing. I will say that I think I've watched Up and Away more times than I have Sky High over the years. And we had Sky High at the house, but I had Up and Away on a VHS too. So I don't know. I think it all boils down to which is the better payoff with our main character. Getting your powers, not getting your powers. I think, because there's something to be said about how they do it in Up and Away, where it's here, not only does he get his powers, he gets it twice. He gets 2 powers. Like, come on. He gets super strength and he gets flying. Where in Up and Away, he doesn't get powers, and it's more like, well, now he's got to learn to be normal, And like I said, there's also the thought of when he grows up and he has kids, are they going to have powers, Or here, it's just like, oh, they mess with that. Like, what happens if I don't? And, oh, guess what? I got powers. Oh, look, I got more powers. There's something to be said about dealing with the idea of maybe you don't get powers, So, at the end of the day, tick the boxes. I think it goes to Up and Away. Most people will disagree with that. They'll say Sky High is better, and that's fair to you. But in my personal opinion, I think I like Up and Away just a little bit better. Like I said, both pretty goods, but yeah, I would say that Up and Away is just a little bit better for me. That's my opinion now. So what's next? Well, I have no idea, so we'll see where it goes. This was my idea to do Up and Away and Sky High, which wasn't originally on my list, but it was on my list, and I took it off. I'm flying by the seat of my pants with these because I've written so many schedules of this, and I'm just, whatever. You know how many times I wrote final? Like 2 or 3 times I wrote final. I'm just like, what? I'm done. I'm writing final because I can't. I cannot lock it in. But here we are. So, what are your thoughts on Sky High? When it comes to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.